Namaste everyone. Welcome to the Advaita Vedanta Satsang House. We are in the continuation of Aparokshanubhuti. We are in class number 43. You can catch the replay for all the 42 rooms prior to this, either in Clubhouse or in the Advaita Retold channel, the link for which I'll paste in the chat. For reference, I'm going to paste the text up on this room, which is from Swami Vimuktānanda, which is the English more or less transliteration, which Bintoji is using for his reference, and the other one he uses is solely a Sanskrit-based text from Acharya Vidyaranya. And with that short introduction, over to Bintoji. For housekeeping, I'm going to close the hand raising and chat till we finish the session. Over to you, Bintoji. Namaste.
Thank you, Prakash. Welcome all. Let me do the invocation. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashi Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The Aparokshanubhuti. Sri Harim Paramanandam Ubadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. Since we have completed up to Samadhi, I thought I will just quickly revise the Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, which are important for moving forward. Thought that I am going to explain again the whole thing, but a bird's eye view of the three, interconnectedness between the three. The Dharana, as per the verse number 122, is that Yatra yatra mano yadi brahmanas tatra darshanat manaso dharanam chaiva dharana sa maram paramata. Wherever the mind goes, one sees only Brahman. And that fixing or abiding in that vision of Brahman or acknowledgement of Brahman in everything what is being experienced either internally or externally through the sense organs or the mind. There is a abidance or the form of knowledge which is being understood that there is no multiplicity, there is only Brahman but appearing as multiple. So the world will be there as the world it is today, but the world with the names and forms will be known as the names and forms depending upon the substratum which is the Brahman or the consciousness or awareness. Unless awareness is present there, consciousness is present there, the name and form cannot stand by itself. So when the mind is engaged in the names and forms, the understanding that in fact or in actuality we are dealing with the awareness which is present all over. The names and forms are dependent realities. Once we know that we are now in the final stages of transfixing ourselves into the next level, which is the dhyana. And the dhyana, as per the Vedanta Vedic practice, is that that 123rd verse says that Brahmaiva smiti sadvritya niralambataya stitihi dhyana shabdena vicāra paramananda dayini. So dhyana shabdena vicāra. Vicāra means well known, or it is, what will be the other better word for it is prominent or well understood or accepted. Dhyana shabdena. What is dhyana shabdena? That vritti, sadvritti, means tatvritti. That thought flows in our experiences, which has been defined by the Kenopanishad as pratibodha viditam. That is the vritti which gives rise to the knowledge that Brahmaiva ahamasmi. I am indeed Brahman. I am also the awareness. It is not that the world is consciousness or awareness and with names and forms. This I, the ego, the individuality, and its identification with the physicality of the body, mind, intellect complex, that is what we make it as ourselves, as individualities. That aham is also Brahman. See, we have been taught in the earlier stages to say neti neti. But here, sarvam khalu idam brahma, or everything is Brahman, is what is being most prescribed for the Aparokshanubhuti. So the dhyana is what is mentioned here, is that identification that I am not different from the world, or I am this I which I feel that I am separate from the world can no more be separate from the world, because the dependency for myself is also my consciousness or awareness. So is the case with every atom in the world. So I cannot be separate from the world. So when I say that I am Brahman, Brahman is not something which is sitting in the skies or the heaven or somewhere else. No. It is the very, very web and woof or wharf, web and wharf, or the, the basic building block or basic ingredient in every knowledge. Knowledge, I means experience, knowing, awareness, consciousness. There are plenty of names in English. Don't have to worry about it. What we have to understand is that all these experiences and the knowledge that I do not have any experience in my deep sleep also is on the Brahman or Atman or consciousness or awareness. That is what is the Sadvritti. And that is a Niralambataya sthiti. There is no dependency for it for its own existence. The awareness doesn't need something else for its existence. It is by itself is self-shining. I don't need something else to know I am. I am there, or I exist, or I am experiencing. All the precondition for all those terms is the my existence of I am, the I. That I doesn't have any need for any dependencies. That is what is called the niralambadaya sthiti. So when in the dharana, wherever the mind goes, I saw the world outside. Now in the dhyana, I am looking at myself and then merging my difference, which I still then had with the world outside, is demolished and made one, saying that I am not different from the world. Everything is Brahman. Sarvam Kaluidam Brahma. When this takes place, we are in a state of samadhi. That is the culmination of the Nididhyāsana, where it is ending up at the Atma Dhyana. Nirvikarataya vrittya brahmakarataya punah vritti vismaranam samyak samadhir jnana samjnaka. A very important word here which we have to keep it in mind is vritti vismaranam. In the last class, Yash asked about it. Vritti vismaranam. It is that nature in which the thoughts are not separate for me to know. When I do not know my thoughts, or when my thoughts are no more there, I don't have to remember about the vritti or the thought. And what kind of a thought? Nirvikarataya. There is no modification for it or changes for it. And brahmakarataya. That akara or the nature of the vritti is all encompassing. There is nothing external to it, including me and the world, and everything is engulfed in that awareness or consciousness. When there is no separatedness, there is no content inside the thought. And when there is no content in the thought is no more a thought, but pure awareness. When this happens, we are in a sthiti, or in a state, or in a, what you call, a state where we are fully aware of everything. There is nothing outside awareness. There is no content for that awareness. When there is no content for the awareness, but everything is awareness, there is no separation between me and the world, or me and my thoughts, or thoughts are no more there. That becomes pure awareness or pure knowledge. That is why it is called samadhi jnana samjnaka. That is this type of samadhi which is being referred in the Vedanta is not a samadhi where there is a doer of samadhi and I am an experiencer of the peace of samadhi or the tranquility of samadhi. No. There is no duality there. That samadhi which Vedanta talks about, jnana samjnaka, is known as knowledge, awareness, consciousness. When you are not separate as a knower and the known, because there is no duality. When that happens, all that remains is the knowledge, neither the knower nor the known. When the knower and known becomes one, what is linking them as knowledge is the one which remains. Because the duality of the knower and the known is gone, and that they understand that knower is also knowledge, the known is also knowledge. So what is remaining is pure knowledge. That is the state of samadhi. In that state, there is no transaction. Vritti vismaranam. When the vritti vismaranam happens, there is no transaction. I am engulfed with my own awareness. I am awareness, and in my awareness there is nothing to me as a knower of the awareness or non as see the tendency for us to that I am aware of myself. There is a famous thought process which is being recommended by some people. That is a vritti. That's a thought. But here is the state where there is no vritti, no thought flows. The awareness, not as a thought, but as a being or a state. When that state happens, that state is the samadhi. So having understood this, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, we have completed the 15 steps of Advaitic prakriya of how to attain that Aparokshanubhuti. This abidance in that knowledge or awareness or consciousness itself is the anubhuti. There is no knower or enjoyer of that anubhuti. There is no need for a sense organs or the mind for that. Therefore, it is aparoksha. Aparoksha means immediate. There is no need of any sense organs or mind, which is called the pratyaksha. Here there is paroksha, not paroksha, but there is an aparoksha. Paroksha is the word used for inference, etc. But even for inference, there is a basis for pratyaksha. But here, there is nothing to be captured by the sense organs or the mind, nor it is an inference using the mind who I am, but it is my own being. I am. And when I know that I am, there is no dichotomy or duality in it. I becomes what I was thinking as that which is outside me. I become that. Ahamasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. And when Tattvamasi was told, this is what was the indicated meaning of the Father Uddalaka to Shvetaketu. The same thing is being put in different words by Shankaracharya in this Aparokshanubhuti. Now we will go to the 125th verse. Imam cha akṛtrima-ānandam tāvat sadhu samabhyased vasyo yavat kshanāt pumsa prayuktaha san bhavet swayam. Bhavet swayam spontaneously arises or happens in oneself. This is not an effort where there is a doer and the doer achieves something. Sadhakaha, the aspirant. Imam akṛtrima-ānandam. Akṛtrima. Kṛtrima means artificial. Akṛtrima means not manifested or artificial Anandam. It is not done by anybody. We are not achieving the peace by quietening the mind, vritti nirodha, or by sitting in meditation as a meditator trying to achieve the peace of mind. No. This is akṛtrima-ānanda, means natural. Ja tavat sadhu samabhyaset. This should practice. There is a word here, sabhyaset. Yavat pumsa tavat abhyaset. As long as the personality of the person, pumsaha, Vashyaha being controlled, that is the personality is controlling you or being called into action, prayukta-hasan. That means as far as the duality is still chasing you or not practice of dharana, dhyana, samadhi has to be practiced. And then kshanat swayam bhaved. We do not know when this will happen. It is just like that. The sun was shining all the time, but the clouds were covering it. We do not know when the cloud will go. There is no activity which we can do when the clouds will go. But when the cloud goes, the sun shines by itself. It is not that the sun was not shining before. Same is the case. Awareness is shining all the time. That is why the definition for our self is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha. Swabhavaha means its nature of the self. What? Nityaha. It is eternal. It has been there, it is there, it will be there. As what? Shuddha. It is that pure light of awareness or pure beam of knowledge or pure existence of consciousness. Nitya Shuddha Buddha. It is the form of knowledge. Buddha means knowledge. Consciousness, awareness, or whatever the name we want. But don't mistake it to be a knowledge in our mind. We are even aware of our mind and the thoughts. So there is a knowledge which is beyond the mind. Mukta. It is free. We are not working out to become free from the worldly problems. It was never there, or it is never there, or it will never be there. As long as you know that this I and the world is not different. When the difference merges, the one gives rise to problem, the world is not different from you. It is not giving you any problem because that is your own being there. All the problems were there when we were thinking the world is different and the world is bad, good, ugly, all those terminologies which the mind had been developing. When the vritti vismaranam, when the mind we become the world, sarvam khalu idam brahma. But as long as we maintain the individuality, pumsaha, the personality or the individuality, it is controlling us. Then we will never be able to realize this knowledge that what is our swarupa. But when you practice abhyased, samabhyased, what is that? Samadhi samabhyased. This Nididhyāsana, which led to Atma Dhyana. And when the Atma Dhyana matured, we entered the Samadhi, which is the knowledge nature, pure knowledge nature. So this is what exactly is we have to be careful about. The individuality retainment. As long as we try to maintain our individuality, and the individuality is depend upon the ego. The ego is the one which creates the individuality. And ego is part of the mind. Mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. Ahankara is the individuality. But when the vritti vismaranam takes place in the mind, there is no mana, there is no buddhi, there is no ahankara, there is no chitta. When all the four aspects of the internal organ of mind-body complex is dissolved, you can't imagine this state by mind. Don't ever try to imagine that state using our mind. It can be achieved only when the mind is no mind. Using my words or the words of the shloka, the verse or Shankaracharya's words, don't cultivate a habit of visualizing that state. That is the mistake we all do. If we visualize that or mentally imagine that, it is still within the mind, vritti. But this is natural. It was the rope before when it was appeared as snake, and later when realized later that it is not snake, all the three times it was rope only was there. Never there was the snake ever. Same way, the individuality, the ego, the mind, the complex and the world and the phenomena appeared only when we became a waker. When we went into dreamer state, none of them followed us there. The ego of the waker was not present there in the dreamer. But when I abandoned both the waker and the dreamer and rested, or apparently abided in myself, the whole phenomenality of the world and the dream and the waking vanished. At that state, what remained was the knowledge, not even the I. You can't say I remained there in the sleep. No. Even the I, the ego was not present there. The knowledge, consciousness, awareness was the only thing which was remaining there. Sadi sambadhya na viduhu sadi sambadhyamahe. Chandogya says that. Having become one with Sat, the truth, we never knew we have become one with the truth. Because there is no knower there separately. But that doesn't deny that we were the truth when we abandoned the waking and the dream. So, imagining that state of deep sleep in waking will not make you in a state of deep sleep. There are problems which can happen, which is being explained in the coming verses. What are the problems that can happen? Before that, let us see how Vidyaranya is explaining this verse. Idanim yadartam samga tangam idam Nididhyāsana muktam tadaha imam iti akṛtrima-ānandam swarupa bhūtānandam abhivanchakam Nididhyāsana mityartaha chakarādi yatha buddhi Vedānta vicāram api iti spashtamanyat. So Vidyaranya says that idanim yadartam sangam idam nididhyasanam uktam. Idanim, now, yadartam, what is the purpose? Nididhyasanam with its sangam means with the limbs of Nididhyāsana was not referred alone. We started with the 15 limbs and culminating in Samadhi, which is the result of Nididhyāsana. The purpose of teaching this Nididhyāsana, tadaha imam iti. I think I have to go back one more verse. I went to the next verse, sorry. Nirvikarataya vritti brahmakarataya punaha vritti vismaranam samyak jnana samadhi jnanagam. That we have covered in the last class. So they're right, we are in the right place only. Okay. So what is being told here is imam. A word is used, tada aha imam iti. The purpose here is indicated by the word imam. What is that imam? akṛtrima-ānanda swarupa bhūtānanda abhivanchakam nididhyāsanam ityartha. Akṛtrima means natural. Ananda, natural happiness or bliss, which is swarupa bhūtānanda. It is the nature of the self. Abhivanchakam means manifesting. Nididhyāsanam ityartha. Nididhyāsanam is what? Nididhyāsanam is the abhivanchakam. Abhivanchakam means the one which manifests. What is it manifesting? Ananda. It is manifesting our true happiness. We heard this in the Taittiriya. Jidiyad vai bhayam bhavati or idaram antaram gurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. From the second is the cause of fear. So when we have Nididhyāsana, when we are negating all the duality there, that is the purpose of the Nididhyāsana, which becomes Atma Dhyana. And what is that doing? It is manifesting the nature of our true self. Swarupa Bhuta Ananda. Our nature is Ananda. That is why Satyajnanam Anandam or Satchidanandam Brahma is being referred as. But the word Swarupa Bhuta Ananda means, what is that? It is not created by the Swarupa, but it appears to be created by the Swarupa. Because we were not knowing our Swarupa till then, due to the Nididhyāsana, we get a feeling that we have now realized. I remember that, please recollect the example of the sun. I explained it at the beginning. It is there. Our Swarupa, we cannot be there without our Swarupa. Our Swarupa is there even before. Even when we were the individuals, Pumsaha, and under the control of the ego, we were having the problems of the world. This Swarupa is still there. It is always there. That is the fundamental reality. But we were not knowing it. But having studied this and taken on the word of Nididhyāsana, when we attain the Samadhi, natural, Jnana Samjnakaha, our true nature of Jnana or knowledge, this will appear as if created by the Swarupa, our true nature. To negate that any creation is really happening is the word akṛtrima-ānanda is used. Akṛtrima, to negate that it is not a manufactured or attained or created happiness. There is a word chakara in this verse, which is being referred here. Chakara yatha buddhi Vedānta vicāram api. That is why Vedānta vicāra, the word chakara is standing for the Vedānta vicāra, which is the precursors for Nididhyāsana, Shravana and Manana. That also has to be included. So basically, what Acharya is saying here is that when we do Shravana, Manana and the Nididhyāsana culminates in our Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, the self shines by itself. So Prakasha is our nature. And in that Prakasha is what I am knowing everything. I am the nature of knowing, therefore I know everything. But when I dissolved the everything, all that remained was this shining self. And that is the nature of Ananda. Because there is no second one to diminish it. Pashtamanyat. Then we will take the 126th verse. Tada sadhana nirmuktaha siddho bhavati yogirat tat swarupam na chaitasya vishayaha manaso giram. Tataha, then yogirat. Rat, here takara is for ja. Yogiraj, or one the best among, the king among the yogis, or the monarch among the yogis. Siddhaha, being perfected. What? Sadhana nirmuktaha, perfection without the sadhana. Bhavati. Once you are vritti vinirmukta, that becomes sadhana nirmukta. When you do not have thoughts, there is no practice also. So sadhana nirmukta is a effect of vritti vismaranam. And that is the time he becomes siddha, being attained the yogi, the state of yoga, the culmination of all the activity. That is why the word yoga is being used. Yoga is coming from the word yuj. Yuj means to yoke or to join together. Here, you are an individual who is trying to achieve the state of perfection or Nididhyāsana or the samadhi state. So you had practice, sadhana. But when you understand that I am not the doer, I am the knowledge by itself through the samadhi, you become riddled, you become redeemed of sadhana. Because you are no more doer of the sadhana. There is no need for doing it, because that is your nature. You don't have to hunt yourself. You don't have to look for yourself. You don't have to search for yourself. You don't have to taste yourself. You don't have to feel yourself. You don't have to enjoy yourself. You are. That is the perfection of yoga. And such a person who has achieved is called the yogirat, or the king among the monarch among the yogis. Etasya tat swarupam manasaha giram cha vishayaha na bhavati. For such a man of realization, yogirat, one who has perfected the yoga through this means, swarupam, his real nature, is not of the mind, of the word, or of the object. That is, yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha is being told in a different language here. Giram, speech or words. Manasa, mind. So when it is free of words and mind, it obviously becomes free from the content vishaya. And only such state, he becomes a yogi, yogiraj, yogirat. He becomes a samrat. He becomes a king of his himself, because he is all. So he is Swarat Bhavati, is what the word Sanat Kumara told Narada in the Chandogya 7th hymn. Sahas Swarat Bhavati. Swarat means he becomes a king of himself. Because there is nothing other than himself. So he becomes the monarch of himself. Here, if the word is used is yogirat. So he becomes the king of union. Of what? He by himself. He who was thinking till then that he is the body-mind complex or the individuality becomes union with his true nature, abandoning that body-mind complex as separate entities. They are all nothing but contents in awareness or awareness itself. So there is, apart from him, there is nothing else. Therefore, he becomes the yogirat. Vidyaranya has not written much on that. Evam abhyasataha phalam aha tata iti. The result of this, of yogirat or yoga or samadhi, evam abhyaset phalam aha tata iti. The result of the practice is being given here now. What is that? Sadhana nirmuktaha. He is freed from the need of any further practice or means. You don't have to travel to yourself any further because you have reached yourself. There is no need for any meditation, Nididhyāsana, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. All of them become redundant. Just like the pole vault. The pole is of no use having crossed the bar. So, you are freed from the pole when you cross the bar. Same way, you freed yourself from the boat after crossing over. You freed yourself from the dharana, dhyana, samadhi or nididhyāsana, shravana, manana, nididhyāsana. There is no need for that. Such a yogirat, he is become sadhana nirmuktaha. He is also sadhana abhyasa rahita ityartha. Devoid of or the independent of repeated practice and means. Etasya yoginaha tad vedanta prasiddham swarupam brahma eva iti bhava. For this yogi, tad vedanta prasiddham, what is proclaimed through Vedanta. Prasiddham means well known. What is that? Swarupam Brahma eva. Aham Brahmasmi. My nature is Brahma. I am Brahman. I am that. Becomes his own nature. Iti bhavaha. That is his bhava. I'm stopping it here today to be 10 minutes early because next verse onwards, Acharya is taking us what are the pitfalls we can come across in this practice. It is not only that we should know what to do, but what are the pitfalls which we can face in the path of the union between the ego and the self, where the ego loses its individuality. That has to be understood so that we do not falsely pat on our own back. Because each pitfall will appear as if you have achieved. Because we all have the feeling that achieving something is required. That can be negated or understood properly only when we are knowing what are the pitfalls and we will be falsely claiming ourselves to be Yogiraj. To avoid that, the verse from 127 onwards has to be studied. I will take these verses in the coming week, Wednesday and Friday. Both days will be devoted for knowing the pitfalls and avoiding them. I'll stop it here. We'll take the question answer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Binduji. Thank you very much. I've opened the chat and the hand raising, and Binduji will be available for another 30-40 minutes. So please raise your hands if you have questions or ensuing discussions.
Hi, Artemis. Hi, Prakash. Uh, Binduji, I've been contemplating in even the prior verses, that 124 and 125 itself. So I just put forth what I contemplated. Maybe try to see that this is a way to go, or the path is rightfully taken. The complete forgetfulness, that 124, the complete forgetfulness of all thoughts by first making it changeless and then identifying with the Brahman. First is getting to this thoughtless awareness, is to by examining and eliminating, to get this, pure awareness which is not devoid of modifications, right? I figured out there are two levels of superimposition, because we did discuss it in the last class. One, I'll just put it in a broad way, is the name and form. The world of appearances is a superimposition on Brahman, the broader entity, just for the discussion purpose. The broader entity is Brahman. And on Atman, this is a body, mind, intellect being superimposed. Basically, there are two levels here. When name and forms are told to be eliminated, at the same time, this, what I was saying, with eyes open, what I'm realizing now gradually is that eyes, no more eyes. Everything now awareness and content of awareness. Then there is a two levels of superimposition. One is the body, mind, intellect on Atman, and broadly the world of name and appearances, name and form in various ways. The two levels of adhyasa are to be knocked off completely to get to this thoughtless awareness. This is my deduction. Thought I'll verify that first thing with you.
Well, you are right, but at the same time, when you say the world includes you. You should not forget that.
Agreed.
So the superimposition initially may appear to be twofold or two levels, but when you are bringing the world in the phenomena of the Brahman, Atman and Brahman are not two separate entities. They are one and the same. By merging that, I am the world. You are the part of the world. And that world, and when I become the world, becomes Brahman.
Yeah. Perfect. So the reason I'm putting this way, now we'll go one more level deeper. This body, mind, intellect, see, for experience to happen, there has to be an experiencer. The experiencer is arising out of this body, mind, intellect complex. And the world, objective world, there is an objective world and there is an experiencer. That is how the split is happening. The split is happening because of this superimposition. The example I could take is, if you take a red rose close to a glass of water, the glass of water appears to be reddish, because they are separate objects altogether. Just that rose is coming, it appears red because of that, imparted quality, or appear to be imparted. So this equipment, the observer is born out of this, whatever reflection you call it, is abhasa. That is where I see the split is arising because of this, body, mind, intellect due to Atman, and then the broader, world of objects is a superimposition with a name and form. This is how I'm splitting and analyzing.
See, analysis is okay, but then you should not forget that the whole dependency for the analysis of the body, mind, intellects and the world, everything is dependent upon your awareness.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
That aspect should never be forgotten even when you do the analysis. The purpose of the analysis is to negate them, not to establish them.
Yep. This eyes open analysis, Nitya Viveka. That is why this eyes open is the most important. That the content of awareness eventually gets everything together, right? Overall,
Right.
it takes the whole thing and knocks it off. So that is what was missing. That nail was that eyes are no more eyes. Okay, that way you said it. This is first level. Then the follow-up is, then there is a second part of the, that 124 verse, and identifying with the Brahman, right? While this is done, the shift to that nirakara vritti, brahmakara vritti, the two things you use today.
Mm.
That unchanging knowledge that, I am Brahman, that shift of whatever was programmed into the mind, that identification, because that has caused the ego before. The mind falsely picked up that, adhyasa as real and made it as an ego.
Mm.
Now shifting that identity back to Brahman with whatever result of assessment.
Right.
That,
Here
okay,
you have to understand one thing. The ego has an akṛtra, or means a name and form, etc. Akṛtra means name and form, etc. So the ego has a akṛtra. But when you negate the akṛtra, nirakara, that can happen only when the name and form are not independently existing things, but depend upon the knowledge, awareness, or consciousness, right? So when you get that, then the nirakara is understood very clearly.
Okay, I'm trying to get to this a little bit in step because I'm a tube light. Okay, my processing speed is low. That's why I'm trying to lay it out in steps.
No need to hurry.
Okay, so this shifting, like nirakara, brahmakara. Nirakara is deduced because of dropping of that adhyasa. When the dropping of adhyasa happen, that awareness without sort of any shape or form is available within as an experience, internal. That is first part of the knowledge. And as I say, eyes open, looking at all of this is a content of my consciousness, including the body as an content of the same consciousness. The world, there is no separation between body and the broader world. That Brahmakara is the infinitude of this is the Brahmakara. So this knowledge, that Nirakara, Brahmakara, that knowledge is what you are calling it as Gnanam. Correct?
Yes, that is that Jnanam or knowledge or awareness or consciousness. Terms can be different, but the intent or the word intenting is not in the words, but in the experience of awareness, experience of consciousness, experience of knowledge, where every experience is giving us only that experience of knowledge. the name and form are dependent on that awareness or knowledge. Even when the eyes open, when we are seeing a mobile in front of you, the mobile is a dependent reality on the awareness that there is a form, name, and that is dependent upon the awareness. So when you are open with the sense organs, or when you are close with the sense organs, only looking at the mind and the thoughts and the vritti in the mind, you don't want to confuse with the sensory inputs. You are now close to your eyes, you are concentrating on your thoughts as per the Patanjali vritti, and concentrating on the thoughts. Even the thoughts which has got contents is dependent upon the awareness in the thought. The thought is also awareness. The names and forms are also awareness. So there is no difference between the whole thing. That is where everything merges into one, or one awareness. That is the time the samadhi really matures.
Perfect, Guruji. I think I'm glad that I took this Ashtanga Yoga before coming to this session. This is as good as shifting that a level up, notch up.
Yes.
So thanks for this. I don't know, this whole Ishvara is collaborating to make it happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Sri Shankaracharya for it.
Shankaracharya, so through you. So to continue to, if nobody's coming in, I'm going to ask a few more things around this part. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
See, now I'm sitting here with my eyes open. Okay. Yet the whole, the world, and, there is no sort of thought process. Simply, the whole setup is appearing, number one. And with an understanding that awareness that, coming to me in the form of Bindoji, sort of providing the whole validation, correction to this. While the same awareness in the form of Venkat here talking to Bindoji, the wholeness of that interaction is available. Yet, this is thoughtless because there is no objective interaction out here. Just with a broader understanding, this is going on. Do we call this as just knowledge in your terminology? Because this terminology of knowledge, I'm trying to complete it by asking these questions.
There is nothing outside knowledge.
Can you elaborate more?
Can you place something outside knowledge or consciousness or awareness?
You can't.
You can't.
Even if you say there's a tree fallen in a forest. Okay. I don't see it.
Yes.
That is one example.
But even then, when you are making the statement, unless it is in your knowledge, you can't make a statement.
Correct. That's perfect. Even if somebody argues that somebody is standing in the forest seeing this tree fall, that person is also part of that awareness.
Yes.
So there's no contradiction. There is, as you examine, there's nothing outside it.
Nothing outside.
Okay. So that's what, there's nothing outside knowledge. Okay. Gnanam. Okay. Now, Vidaji, now we'll get to the next part of it. This carefully practiced meditation to reveal his natural bliss until it is under full control. What has been told here? It's just that knowing that there's nothing to seek further. It gives that, I use the word samadhana and you use samadhi. That trupti, I use trupti means that completeness. There is no, you are thirsty, you just drank water and you're full. You're not thirsty anymore because it's full. That fullness is what it is. I don't see any other experience here.
Yes, fullness, you call it as fullness, ananda, bliss, full, conscious, knowledge. The difference word we are making is that even when we are saying consciousness, awareness, knowledge, etc., we identify them with what is happening in our mind. Therefore, for us, the happiness, bliss, etc., are contents of mind. But here is that state. The mind is no more there. So where will the knowledge or the happiness or the bliss locate? Where can you locate them?
There's no location. What is arising is that peace. I still use the word active mind for a reason. There's a discussion, interaction is on. That gives, so you can call it as the nature itself, nature of that itself is available, arising in the mind as a peace, as bliss. That's the most we can get to.
No. That is almost close to it, but not that.
Why not?
Because it is just like you are at the tip of the pole vault. You have the pole in your hand and you have to cross over. At that time, when you have to cross over, you have to let the pole fall back and you have to cross over. Same is the case, you will use the mind for the Nididhyāsana, for the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyāsana, Atma Dhyana, Saman, Dhyana, Dhyana, Samadhi. And the Samadhi achievement becomes 100% successful only when it is in pure knowledge, not in the mind knowledge. The mental knowledge can never be a Samadhi because there will be ups and downs. That is called Niralambataya. The word is very important. Alamba means dependency. Niralambataya means without dependency. Of what? Mental vritti. The vritti shunyam or vritti rahityam or vritti vismaranam. Whatever may be that word. It is not a thought in the mind, not an acknowledgement of the mind as trupti or happiness or any bliss or anything. It is a natural nature of us. What was the bliss or the happiness or the trupti you had in your deep sleep? You never knew that at that state. When you wake up, you feel rejuvenated. Therefore, there is a level of happiness there in the waking. When you say that now I had a good sleep and I am fresh now. There is a rejuvenated feeling. That rejuvenated feeling is a recollection of the mind, of the torment or the torture he had before going to sleep. And comparing it with this thing, but never the happiness of the deep sleep. The bliss of the deep sleep is never part of memory. Because mind is not there to recollect it. Mind is only in the waking and the dream. You have to denounce your mental imagination. When we are going through the next set of verses, I will explain each one of them very clearly. And we will know that, that is what I was thinking as realization. But no. The realization, the yogirat state, is our natural, existential reality, which is beyond the mind.
We'll wait for that to happen, Nidhi. Just a closure
Sure.
on this.
Yeah.
This nirakara vritti, brahmakara vritti, or even knowledge, I can only put it as like expanded mind, a mind divide of ego, how we want to put it. It is inseparable from awareness by then.
The mind becomes no mind, Venkat. It is not an expanded mind.
Yeah, I don't know
However much you expand, it can include the entire cosmos in it, but it is still not Brahmakara Vritti. Because it has got content in it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, when I explained it. The mind becomes mind when it is dependent upon vak. Vak means name and form. When the dependency of the name and the form is lost in the mind, means including the entire imagination, including the cosmos or the creation or the world or the phenomenal world, ego, individuality, body, mind, complex, everything is included in that. Because they are all names and forms. When they are divided of the name and form, the mind becomes no mind. It becomes knowledge, awareness. That time, the mind is not turned outward, but turned away from these names and forms. That is why the Kathopanishad mantra says, when the sense organs are naturally turned external, one courageous person turned the vision inward and he saw the Pratyekātman. He realized his true nature. That turning inward, turning of the mind means the mind's dependency or anchor on the name and form is lost or thrown away. Only then aprapya manasa saha means mind becomes no mind. So the mind is no more called the mind at that time. Mind becomes awareness. It is no more mind. It becomes the one which is the awareness of the deep sleep, where it is aware of its own existence, but it cannot say it is aware of its own existence also. Therefore it says, I knew nothing. That is a sleep, laya, which will come to in the next verse.
Perfect. Maybe you can explain this one setup, or that vilakshana sakshi. Okay.
Yeah.
Vilakshana sakshi.
Yes.
Is that part of no mind?
It is a part of no mind. Because vilakshana means, what are the lakshanas? Name and forms.
Correct.
And the one which is witnessing without name and form is what? Pure awareness.
So this vilakshana sakshi, inseparable with that of awareness.
Yes.
Okay, I think we'll wait for the remaining verses, Binduji. I will not jump further on this.
Okay.
Thank you, Binduji. This is a very helpful discussion.
Thank you, Venkat, for the questions. Namaste, Anu.
Hello, namaste, Binduji.
Namaste.
I am already I am, and then there's the whole me, Anu, and Binduji, a whole world, which comes into existence, and also like all history, all science, all physics, all future, all space, all galaxies, whole concept comes into existence just right now, and a concept of space and time comes existence right now, and um, and and there is no other proof. I mean, all others, quote unquote, are there to make it more complex, and as if there are many entities, and Anu as an entity, and then their interaction and the whole mess up. But which we would categorize into like a 2D information, 2D information, including senses, like all the senses, like suppose there is a smell or taste. I mean, this is also one, it kind of information. It is a 2D information which comes. So I mean, this like right now, it comes into existence right now, and just the illusion that there is the whole past and there is a whole future and there's a whole knowledge, quote unquote, and big thing. But so we can, but I am, which is zero, which you can say as zero, and the other whole knowledge, quote unquote, can be one. So every time I mean, my awareness could be about the whole thing, like whole history, physics, galaxies, knowledge, moksha, this, that, whole thing comes into one category, and me as zero, and I only become one, and then I became zero. So isn't it whole thing like this?
No. Where did all this existence come into? Where did it come? Or where is the anchor for all these things?
There is in me. I am the only one who becomes the whole other thing.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, all the things which you said, I'll put it into names and forms.
Yes.
Right?
I become the name and form. I became.
Yes.
Only.
You become
All
the
the
name,
time.
and you become everything becomes names and forms only through you.
Yes, and I'm still remain that awareness all the time also, and also I become name and form.
You are the awareness. In awareness, the names and forms appear.
Yes.
That's all. There is no two. There cannot be two, because the names and forms are not separate from awareness. You cannot show me a name and a form, or a name or form outside awareness.
Yes, I am the director, I am the actor, and also a witness, actually.
Yes. That is why when you say Aham Brahmasmi, because Brahma means the maximum you can think of anything. Right, you said no names and forms, cosmos, world, universe, or whatever. Everything put together is Brahman. And that Brahman is nothing but awareness. Because in awareness, the names and forms appear. That names and forms of cosmos, world, the universe, cosmic, you, me, ego, all those things are in awareness. Therefore, all that is remaining is only awareness. You call it as awareness, you call it as consciousness, you call it as knowledge. These are all nomenclatures. But there is something which is innate in all of us, while we feel the separatedness also, which unifies all of us into one category and one reality. And that reality is nothing but that. Whether you want to call it as consciousness, awareness, knowledge, or any other thing, doesn't matter. That is what we are all. Tadattvamasi. That is the truth.
Yes, but I want to say just one thing is that, like, we used to have those film reels, where you have each scene in different, scenes are there, and
Yep.
see character, and there is a whole one scene in one. So actually, me, you, everybody else is also is part of that one scene which I am seeing. I am aware. I am seeing as awareness, and it is there. It is just concepts of you, me, and all other. Whole name and form is just a concept which is in me, and there is no other difference. It's just the way of looking. Actually, we have looked it as a person. So that becomes whole enormous whole thing. But if you keep on like
I
go
got it.
beyond.
Yeah, it is just like the entire picture is nothing but light. When the light is off, there is no picture. Reel, or what you call it as projection, or everything has a dependency on the light of knowledge. That light of knowledge is what exactly is what is called knowledge.
Yes,
The
we can
movie,
just
the light and the reflection is an example for that.
discuss the whole details of the scene, but there is a scene and there is a projection. That's all.
The scene is nothing but projection.
Yes, and the knowledge is the details we are talking about. Okay, what about this, and then how about look at that? But actually, it's just a light and the projection, and 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 scene is also project. I mean, same
Yeah,
actually.
right. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Binduji. I appreciate so much. This thing is such a amazing. Like last time, I heard that this is the dream, and it was like, oh my God, this is dream. So I've heard it many times, but like the way you say it, it's really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, Balaji has come. He has got a question.
Namaskar, Vinodji.
Namaskar.
Namaskar
Namaskar.
to everybody. To lighten up the session, I would like to want to check with you whether you would be able to crack this particular incident that happened in the life of Sri Ramana Maharishi. A middle-aged, you must have heard of the story actually. Story in the sense it's a real incident from the book talks. A middle-aged woman brought her, a dead boy, corpse, all the way from Gundur to Tiruvannamalai, and she was telling Maharishi that this boy was, he was having this, he got into this infantile paralysis, and he got dead couple of hours ago, and she had a vision that she saw a sadhu, and that sadhu touched the body of the boy, and that boy got resurrected. And she said that sadhu is you, Ramana Maharishi. And Ramana was asking her what doctor said. She said, doctor said he was declared dead. And she spent like 150 rupees that time to take the corpse all the way from Guntur actually. And she was insistent on Maharishi's touching the body, and Maharishi didn't do. By the time, mad people, they dispersed them all. Next day morning, the body got cremated. The corpse got cremated actually. And someone was asking Sri Ramana Maharishi that this lady was so faithful and diligent in her, in her vision actually. And she got all the faith. But then, you didn't touch the body and she kind of got disappointed and gone off. What do you think of it? And Ramana Maharishi was telling, sorry, my charge is low. Once again, sir, just a second. Ramana Maharishi was telling that particular person, she and her boy were not real. What is there to talk about? Then this gentleman was asked, telling him, then how do you account for this superimposition that you just discussed about? And Ramana Maharishi kept quiet, no answer. Would you be able to crack this out? Of course, getting back to this, stuff, I am that and all that is fine. But technically, as for a lay person, when there is no answer from Ramana Maharishi, after him having stated that they are not real, right? The lady and boy are not real. Would you be able to correct this thing, Vinodji?
No, because that's what Maharishi has seen. I have not seen it. So how will I say what Maharishi knew and why did he do that? It is all part of the waking. My waking is reading Maharishi's book. My waking is reading the story of the book. My waking is Balaji telling the story to me. And it's all in my waking. But I am neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the deep sleeper.
When you were,
so they are not real.
Maharaja, when you were discussing about the vrittis, right? In fact, Ramana Maharishi was saying vrittis are just an auxiliary thing. It's a matter of convenience, right? Satviks, even that sattvic part taking over rajasic part and all this are all matter of convenience for the sake of discussion. We are all doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, that is all fine, sir. But then, would you be able to crack it? Because I was breaking my mind as to why he did not give that answer. Having said that this is just a superimposition and they are not real as such.
Right. That's exactly the truth, no? I said, the waking, whatever is there in the waking is a superimposition. Just now only Anu was talking, no, about that it's all the projection of the mind. As long as you are in the mind and imagining the waking is right, the Ramana Maharshi is right, Balaji is right, Bindu is right, Artemisha is right, everybody, you and me are all right. But what happened to us when we were not there here? But if you look from the point of view of pure awareness, these are all names and forms, or the story of the waker. So don't waste your time on trying to find out what Maharishi has seen and why didn't he do it, because we can't see what Maharishi has seen. Nor can we see anybody else. I can't see what Balaji is seeing. Forget about Maharishi, Ramana Maharishi. I cannot see what Balaji is seeing. So what will I say? Why did you do that? How can I say that? Because that is the story you are creating. It is your story. So you are asking my Ramana Maharshi's story to be explained by me. How can I say that? Because I am not Ramana Maharshi to explain that. Right? Each one of us create a story for us in the waking.
Got it, Binoji. I got it. I just said it. I just, came up just to get some kind of, I knew that this was the answer you would be giving it to me. Yeah, that is fine. In fact, in this connection, I would also like to state this fact of M. Natesha Iyer interacting with Sri Ramana Maharishi, in the same book talks actually. There he was asking Ramana Maharishi, Lord Ishvara and Vaikuntha, Vishnu are as real as me, the body. And Ramana Maharishi said, yes, Vaikuntha all these are actually not the bodies. There are bodies for Lord Ishvara and Vishnu also. Then this gentleman was asking where are they? Ramana Maharishi said many of them have seen them, they must be existing somewhere. Then upon further asking, he is telling they are in you. Right, that nothing. They are in you, which means again it's all boiling down to I am that, Aham
Yes,
Brahmasmi and all that stuff. Yeah, it's all.
absolutely.
Yeah, theologically it's fine. That is where he said all this, this vritti and all, there are auxiliary means. Like somebody was discussing about Brahma Agara vritti, right? Where he was telling that Brahma Agara vritti itself is an auxiliary. There is nothing to be discussed about. It is matter for the sake of convenience. All these discussions are coming up. Like Sri
Uh,
Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say very simply, when you go to the orchard to eat mangoes, why are you counting leaves and the number of mangoes that are there on the tree? You go ahead and pluck and eat the mango. That's all he said actually. He put it in a simplified manner. That is what you are also conveying to me. That everything is there, right? It is there in you. You explore and get the best out of it.
right.
Or nothing out of it. That's what, did I get it rightly, Pinodji?
Yeah, you got it on. You got it right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Balaji.
Bindo, before we
Yes,
close, I just wanted to say that it was really lovely being here with you today. And
thank
the
you.
meaning, you're so welcome. And the meaning is clearly before your words. It always precedes them. And the way that you expressed that just to exist is bliss. And you're very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Artemishi. Prakash, can we wind up?
Yes. Thank you everyone for coming. Again, thank you very much, Bindoji, for offering us these profound, deep insights into what sadhana and samadhi states are. Definitely worth going back and doing the Nididhyāsana, as you always remind us. So our next session is on Sunday. It's an open discussion at 8:30 p.m. IST. And with that, thank you, Bindoji.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Artemishi, Balaji, Venkat, and Anu for the questions. And thank you all for being there, listening to me patiently. See you all on Sunday. Hari Om. Good night.
Hari Om.